What is causing all of this? Jason of New 80s Revolution down here in the cave. It feels like forever and a day that we have not hung out and talked toys. I've missed you guys. I've been doing this whole toy hunt with the boys. So, you know, you've seen a bunch of videos where we tried to track down the AEW figures. By the way, we have completed Series 1 with the exception of Brandy. I hear that I hear Brandy didn't even make it to stores in some cases. I don't know what's going on with that. We didn't really care anyway. Brandy wasn't high on our list of figures to get. So you saw that. You saw that. I got a lot of good feedback from you guys on that one. Much appreciated. But now we are going to dive into my very, very close second favorite wrestling figure line. Now, I know I said that about the Galoobs, and the Galoobs are also my very close second favorite line. And this is my very close second favorite line. How can that be? You can't have two second favorite lines. Well, of course you can. It's my stuff. They're my toys. We're going to talk about the AWA REMCO figures. Or the AWA figures from a little toy company called REMCO. These figures, I cannot say enough about my love for these figures. So episode 1 here, we're gonna go over Series 1, but we're also gonna talk a bit. We're gonna talk a bit because I wanna, you know, you've heard me talk all about the WWF and how I discovered Hulk Hogan in 1984. A little 8-year-old me flipping through the dial and finding WWF Championship Wrestling. Late at night, I think, actually. But the AWA was also on in Rochester, New York. And we had, I want to say probably 85 was when it was on pretty regularly on ESPN after school at 4:00 p.m. And if my memory serves me correctly, for a while it was on every weekday at 4, but then occasionally it would alternate between AWA and WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling. So I didn't watch some of the glory years of AWA. In the 80s, I think like 81, 82, 83, AWA is just awesome. You know, Nick Bockwinkel and Hulk Hogan, Bobby Heenan is tearing it up in the AWA. He's got his AWA version of the Heenan family. Just a great organization. Greg Gagne, Jim Brunzell, the Road Warriors coming and going, some cross promotion with a few other federations, just good stuff. You know, Vern Gagne hanging on for, you know, one last little run, you know, skyrocketing his son to the moon. And you know, it was really an entertaining television show. Up until like late 86, early 87. And that's when the AWA unfortunately started to plummet. But the figures, real quickly, before I talk about the figures, you know, each wrestling that I watched during this particular era, WWF, NWA, and AWA, and a little bit of World Class, each one was different. Each one was very, very, very different. The AWA and the NWA were very, very wrestling-centered shows. You know, not a lot of gimmicks, if any. and you know, dark arenas. You know, everybody's smoking a cigar. You know, referee is 93 years old. You know, just good old wrestling. The AWA was, you know, based out of Minnesota, but ran a lot of shows in Las Vegas out of the Showboat, and that's my after-school memories of AWA. The shows from the Showboat Casino in Las Vegas. So the figures, you know, there's been some confusion on the show about what I got first, LJNs or AWA figures, and I still don't know. I still don't know what I got first. I have no idea. I can't remember. I know how I got my first LJN figures. We've told that story before. And I know how I got my first AWA figures. I just don't know what came first. My first AWA figures came on Easter Sunday. The Easter Bunny hid my basket in the basement somewhere, I remember. And when I found it, you know, we had your standard Easter fare. But also tucked in that package were the Road Warriors. The Road Warriors AWA figures were tucked securely in my Easter basket. So Easter is what, April? March? I don't know. April? So I'm going to say April 1985, I got the Road Warriors. And I can't remember if I got Hogan and Andre LJNs prior to Easter or after Easter. I can't remember. I can't remember. But there's a good chance that the AWA REMCO Road Warriors were my first ever wrestling figures. There's a good chance. Well, speaking of them, here they are. Here's Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, complete with, well, they're calling them chaps. These are just your standard cloth pants with the buttocks out, so I guess that's chaps. And they also have these neck collars. And I'll give you a closer look at those. They have their neck collars, right? Because the Road Warriors were bad, right? They were mean. Hawk and oh, you know what? I think maybe the chaps are on backwards on Animal. But here's Hawk with the chaps on correctly, I believe. All right, so there we go, complete with the neck collars. The Road Warriors also came with two of these. A very plain, very basic AWA tag team title in the form molded after the NWA 10 pounds of gold championship belt, the domed globe it is referred to as. This is Ric Flair's NWA World title, and this is doubling as the AWA Tag Team Championships, which just starts the confusion, right? Starts off the confusion. What's the connection with the NWA and the AWA? Some talked about Pro Wrestling USA, which was just a failed collaboration between NWA, AWA, a few other organizations. They all got together in 85 and tried to dominate the wrestling world, and really should have. On paper, they should have. If you combine the AWA, the NWA, and bring in some, you know, CWF guys or some WCCW guys, you should blow up. But everybody wanted to be on top. All the promoters of their individual organizations wanted to dominate. Nobody could get together. Nobody could get it right. They had a TV deal, and it blew up. It bombed. It only lasted for 7 months or so, right? But the AWA REMCO Road Warriors are quite possibly my first figure. Here's a carded version. Take a look. This is the This is the AWA REMCO Road Warriors carded right there. And we are going to take a look at some carded figures in a minute. So the body types of these figures are almost all the same. If you have an AWA figure, you are ripped and shredded. You are shredded, or you have a dad bod. That's it. That's all you got with the AWA figures. You got ripped and shredded, or you got dad bod. And we don't have an opportunity to show off dad bod this episode, but we will. Don't worry. So that's the Road Warriors. The next set actually is two of my favorite figures. I don't know why. I do know why. They're two of my favorite figures because I remember enjoying this tag team, and I didn't know who they were as a kid, you know. But I remember thinking that their tie-dye trunks were cool. I don't know. And then as one half of this tag team left the AWA, he came to, you know, my territory where I was hanging out most of the time, the World Wrestling Federation, and became one half of the Killer Bees. And then, you know, I really knew who he was. I'm talking about, of course, Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne. Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne. They have these interesting jackets, and I'm not sure if they actually wore these outfits. I'm sure they wore jackets, but on the back of their jackets is a Pegasus, a horse, and I don't know, like what is that? That's like a Texas bull kind of thing, right? A bull head. And that doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know why this would be. They're both from Minnesota, so we're not really, I don't know. I don't know if this was ever something they actually wore. But check it out. There's these classic Jim Brunzell trunks. Now these are the trunks that he actually wore. And when I think I gotta look back, because when he first came to the WWF, I don't know if he jumped right into the Killer Bees. I don't know if Jim Brunzell hung out in the WWF a little bit and then got into the Killer Bees, or if they just debuted him and Flair together as the Killer Bees. But I do remember after the Killer Bees ended, Jim Brunzell hung around the WWF for about a month or two. And unfortunately, he was, you know, jobbed out to the stars, as they say. But he brought these trunks back. I remember that. He brought back the old AWA tie-dye trunks, which is pretty cool. Jim Brunzell has one of the best drop kicks in all of the business, and Greg Gagne is Vern Gagne's son. So there you go. There's Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne, lovingly known as the High Flyers. What a great little name, the High Flyers. All right, a interesting set, which again, you know, blurs the lines between the NWA and the AWA. Larry Zabisco, who I believe was married to Vern Gagne's daughter at some point, probably during this time. But they put together a little two-pack here that was interesting because, again, we have representation from the NWA and we have a challenger from the AWA. And Larry Zabisco had nothing to do with the NWA in 1985. He was strictly with the AWA. He did join the NWA a few years later, but had nothing to do with them other than the Pro Wrestling USA collaboration. But they put out the two-pack of Larry Zabisco challenging for the NWA World's title, Ric Flair. I guess I'm wondering why they didn't put an NWA guy with Ric Flair. I don't know. You know, I don't know what they were thinking. I would love to someday get some intel from some former Remco employee, and they could tell us what the heck was going on here. I don't even know if they'd know, right? But we got Ric Flair and we got Larry Zabisco. The Flair figure is, you know, it's all right. Head scan isn't the greatest, or it's not a scan, but his head isn't the greatest likeness. Lovely robe, love that. Got his NWA title, and Larry Zabisco is actually looks like Larry Zabisco, and comes with his red jacket, and there you go. So we've got the challenge match, the AWA challenge match. Ric Flair and Larry Zabisco. And as we're going through these, you guys are taking a look at these on card. This tag team was, again, in the AWA for a small period of time. And I don't even think, I'd have to look back. I'm not even sure they were in the AWA at this time. You know, mid or early 1985. I think they hung out in 84. I'm not sure. But anyway, we've got, back in this period of time, a lot of the wrestlers were like, you know, like pinup models, and definitely played to the female audience. A lot of chest hair, a lot of mustaches, a la Scott Hall, and some of the, I remember being a kid and getting like the magazines with the posters or the pinups, and sometimes I had to explain, you know, why I was putting a pinup on my wall of, you know, Steve Kern and Stan Lane laying, you know, sitting poolside with bikinis on, or bikini briefs. You know, I don't know. That's how they would market them. So. The sex symbol, you know, the rock and roll type of thing. You know, we got the Rock and Roll Express, we got the Midnight Express, we got the Midnight Rockers, and we've got the Fabulous Ones, modeled after Chippendale dancers. I'm sure of that. They wore the suspenders to the ring, they had the bow tie, they just had that Chippendale male stripper look. And all the ladies loved them. And some of the guys, I'm sure, too. But here we are with Steve Kern, Stan Lane, the Fabulous Ones. And the Fabulous Ones were actually in a feud with the Road Warriors at some point. And that was hard to buy, right? The Chicago tough guy, bouncer, makeup, mohawk Road Warriors, who were really destructive. You know, they were given, like, just go in there and destroy everyone. Taking on the Chippendales, right? I don't know. How competitive can that be? Steve Kern went on to do a few different things. He hung out in Florida after the AWA. He became Skinner in the WWF for a while. And I think he played a doink. I think Steve Kern was a doink. And Stan Lane went on to his, I think, more fame as one half of the Midnight Express. After Dennis Condrey left Bobby Eaton in the NWA, Sweet Stan came in and became Midnight Express. And I think I liked that version of the Midnight Express better, I think. And then Stan Lane did some other stuff. I think he was a commentator for the WWF at one point. And even today, he still has this really weird, you know, flat top, spiky haircut. He's still doing the thing. He's still doing the Chippendale thing. Steve Kern, Stan Lane, the Fabulous Ones. And now finally, this is like the AWA main event 2-pack. They did the NWA main event 2-pack with an AWA guy. Put out all the tag teams. And then they gave us the main event, one fall to a finish. I think it used to say on the card. I'll have to look. One fall to a finish. The AWA World Champion with the NWA belt takes on Baron von Raschke. That's right. Baron von Raschke with... This is the only figure that has a different hand. And you can see that he's got the claw hand because that was his move, right? The claw. And this is the only figure that actually does not have one of these generic open hands or punch hands. This is the only one. Different hand mold for Baron von Raschke. And Baron von Raschke is also has the shredded body, which he never had, ever in his life. Rick Martel, your babyface AWA champion, and Baron von Raschke, your dastardly foreign, meanie with the claw. Baron von Raschke, I think wrestled well into his 200s, I think. So I think in 85, Baron von Raschke might have been 172, I think, give or take. But we've got the Baron and Rick Martel for your AWA World title. And that's it. That's where we're going to stop. Okay? That's Series 1. We're going to talk about the next bunch of series. We're going to talk about some of the hardest to find action figures in all of the land. The Map Mania series. We're going to talk about the ring. We're going to talk about the Steel Cage playset. The Battle Royal playset. We're going to talk about some shocking developments, some shocking new information that I've received at 44 years old about the AWA, about one of the AWA playsets, the Battle Royal playset. There's something about that playset that I did not know. I did not know until about a month ago, and I'm going to tell you what that is. We've got some photos from collectors all over the land, have sent me some of their photos of their AWA collections, and we'll talk all about that. And I'm going to show you off some carded figures. I have 5 sets, or 5 boxes, I guess. I don't know, 5 packages, carded figures, and we'll show you those in the next episode. So until then, that is AWA Part 1, the 1985 releases. And these came out, these were, and confirmed, these were the first wrestling figures to hit our market. These were before LJNs. Slightly, albeit, but these were released first. And Linda McMahon actually met with REMCO when she was shopping around the idea for the WWF Wrestling Superstars. Fun fact. I don't know why she turned them down or why she went with another company, but for a little bit of moment there, our LJN Wrestling Superstars could have looked like this. These could have been and you know what? I probably would have been fine with it. But there you go. So that's, yeah, I don't know how Vern snaggled the deal away from Linda and the WWF, or if Linda McMahon turned them down and then Vern jumped on it. I don't know. We'll ask Vern Gagne. So that's that. Next, we'll do it again. We'll talk about the next bunch of them, and I'll show you off some other stuff. That's AWA REMCO Part 1. Until next time, good night now.